Now we're going to talk a little bit about something called line jitter. Line jitter is the effect that you see when something is hand drawn and it's not perfectly drawn, as in by a computer, and it's not a perfectly straight line. And depending on the quality of the animation, the crudeness, and sometimes the very attractive crudeness, that jitter is something that makes the eye a little bit more accepting. Nature does not like extremely straight lines. In fact, there are no extremely straight lines in nature. So when we have our objects, the computer just loves straight lines. And even though we have this cartoony motion of our house here, when we render it out, we do have the problem that many of the lines are exceedingly straight, even though this was modeled with some slight curvature to it. And also it's still moving very, very smoothly. So there is a way of going within the system and getting a little more life to it. The best way of doing this, or the easiest way, is just going right in and using and deforming it. And let's just go straight into the displacement map. And I'm going to select, this will get real crazy in just a second. We are going to go in and select Procedural Texture. And see how it makes it jump up? We do it to the side. Let's go to Perspective View, and you can go to the X. It's displacing it on the X-axis, and the Y on the up and down, Z back and forth. And what we really want for it to displace in all directions. Now, we do have the option of using normal displacement, which means it will displace depending on which way the polygon is shaped. However, there is kind of a shortcut using the standard displacement. If we go straight in, a few of the procedural textures will automatically displace on 3 dimensions. One of those is fractal noise. So it's all crazy, but it's displacing on every angle. And we're going to take it down. In fact, we're going to take it down a whole lot. Go back to our camera view. And we do have some more. The lines aren't as straight as they were before. We do have some kink to it. You can see along the lines here. Not exactly what we're looking for, but it's a start. See our previous, this is our current house, this was our previous house. So we need to do a couple of adjustments. We kind of have a problem with real estate here, but we should be able to see what's going on. First of all, it's too big. My house is roughly about 2 meters tall. The rule of thumb that I found is when you're working with procedurals, a good place to get you in the ballpark is go about 1/10 the size of your object. Doesn't always get you there, but it's a decent place to start. Take down our displacement. That's only 1%. It looks like we could even go less. So my object is displaced. I want a little more motion to it. And what I'm going to do is turn on world coordinates. What world coordinates will do is now it unattaches the surface, the procedural, from the geometry, and it'll be as if it is moving through it. It'll be kind of hard to see here, but it's being displaced. You can kind of make it out as it's moving through the procedural texture. So it gives it very unexpected jumps and bumps, which is exactly what we're looking for. So let's render this out. see we have a lot more curves. Now this is one of those things that you'll spend quite a bit of time dialing in the exact kind of look that you want. You see it's a lot more uneven, a lot more jumpy, and in a way a lot more natural looking. It looks like I would need to do some further tweaks, like probably up my geometry. Let's try doubling it for now. You see, still kind of low on the geometry there. Let's take another step up, and we will probably have to increase our smoothing. And this is just kind of shooting from the hip. And of course it will take a little bit longer to render, so I'm just going to turn off my anti-aliasing. Now the more geometry it has, the more it will be able to displace. Now this is a real crude example, keep in mind. However, instead of getting the very straight lines, the very evenness that I had before, I have much more broken up lines. And this is probably more than I would want, but for purposes of the tutorial, I'm kind of exaggerating. Let's take it down to, it's even already at 1%. I could put in a fraction here, or I could put in a fraction down here. Let's try 0.25. Now you think you wouldn't notice it, and I think maybe I want to take this down another half. And let's take a look at what this looks like. And it's not too bad. I'm going to take this off and then render it one more time so we can see a before and after. With the displacement, and now that is 1/2 of 1%. It's giving me more edges, giving me a slight displacement as it's moving through, and this is something that you would only see because it's moving through the procedural. It is changing as it is sliding through the area. Let's crank that up one more time. Set this to 1. Set this to 2.